Is old school modern burn back, but in standard and on a $100 budget thanks to some new foundation additions? That's what we're going to find out today. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Budget Magic. And this week, we got a fun one. We are heading to Foundation Standard to play some Boros Burn, and I'm really excited for this deck because my favorite part of Foundations is the set is overflowing with super nostalgic reprints to the point where our Boros Burn deck actually looks a lot like 2015 Modern Burn, but in Standard. So let's talk about the deck, what it's trying to do, jump into some games, and see it in action. So first off, like any good burn deck, we have some creatures. So the idea of this deck is hopefully in the early game we can chip in for a bit of damage with creatures, and then we close out the game by just throwing burn spells at our opponent's face. So creature-wise, we have 3 different 1-drops. Monastery Swiftspear, the best of the bunch. Haste and Prowess works really well with all of our cheap burn spells. Hired Claw and Kellen kind of our backup 1-drops. Honestly, I've been very impressed with Hired Claw, not as impressed with Kellen, so I think I'm going to switch and just play 4 Hired Claws, thanks to the guaranteed damage you get when it attacks, plus it's a good mana sink. Vashino Pyromancer, 2 damage for sure for 2 mana, plus it sticks on the battlefield as a 2/1, and then Screaming Nemesis. One of the concerns for our deck is there's some really good life gain effects in Standard. Sheoldreds and Bizas. Screaming Nemesis is kind of our answer to these effects. If we can trigger its ability, we shut down our opponent's life gain forever. Plus a 3-mana 3/3 haster that is awkward for our opponent to block is just a pretty good aggro card anyway. So those are our creatures. Then we have our burn spells. And this is where the deck really starts to look like old school modern burn. So we have Bolt Wave, which is literally just Lava Spike, but in Standard, 3 damage to our opponent for 1 mana. Burst Lightning, basically an upgraded Shock. It is literally Shock, 2 damage for 1 mana, but we can kick it for 5 total mana to get 4 damage instead. Shock is already a standard playable burn spell, so this is a pretty big upgrade. Boros Charm, 4 damage for 2 mana, super above the curve. Lightning Helix, 3 damage, plus it gains some life, which can swing the race against aggro. And then Lightning Strike, our only burn spell that is clearly not modern playable. Although, we don't get Lightning Bolt in Standard, so this is as close as we get. Otherwise, we have Case of the Crimson Pulse, and this is essentially our card advantage engine. When I started building this deck, I had 2 cases, and it felt so good that I quickly went up to the full 4 copies. The ability to solve this case quickly, since our deck is really good at emptying its hand, and then we get to draw 3 cards a turn, makes this an absurd way of closing out the game. We usually get our opponent down to like under 10 life, then we solve the case, and those 3 cards a turn means so much damage that we just kill our opponent within a couple of turns. Mana Beast, pretty straightforward, a bunch of dual lands. The jankiest is Abraded Bluffs. I don't know if it's worth it or not. It comes into play tap, but it does give us a damage, which is a nice upside. In the sideboard, Scorching Shot, Destroy Evil to deal with bigger creatures, Abrade for artifacts, Rest in Peace for graveyard, Slag Storm is a sweeper that can also go face, and Sunspine Links is another way to shut down those Bizas and Sheoldred and life gain effects. And that is Boros Burn for Foundation Standard, and that's our budget magic for today. So let's jump into some games, see the deck in action. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy it. Oh yeah, also I apologize if my voice sounds a little off. I've been kind of sick lately. I'm getting better slowly, but my voice is still kind of shot. So anyway, let's jump into the game, see some Boros Burn in action. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy it, and I will talk to you soon.
Need some magic cards? Well, you can snag them from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, over at cardkingdom.com/MTGGoldfish. Want to help out the channel? Well, you can snag these super sweet new dice, playmats, tokens, and more over at MTGGoldfishmerch.com.
Budget magic time. We are doing some burning in Standard. Thanks to Foundations, we can almost play like, I don't know, 2015 Modern Burn in Standard now. Pretty close, pretty close. So that's what we're doing today. We are Boros Charming and Lava Spiking, or I guess Bolt Waving, whatever the new Lava Spike is. Ugh. And mulliganing. This hand's better. This hand's much better. I don't know if the Pain Desert's worth it or not. We'll see. Let's see if we can win a game because of the Pain Desert. I mean, we got some damages. Opponent, Underground Mortuary. I mean, so the goal of this deck's pretty simple. Wow, we cannot get away from the Braided Bluffs. If only it blew up an artifact. Opponent. If I sound weird, I've just been sick lately. I actually have a cough drop in my mouth as I'm recording this. Opponent duresses us. Sure. Gonna take the Boros Charm, I assume. Yeah. Alright. Well, Vashino Pyromancer. Ping ya down to 17. I feel like Screaming Nemesis is one of the most important cards in this deck because life gain seems really good against us. Opponent, creature land, and passes. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's a Lightning Helix. Well, you didn't hit ya. Our opponent knew about the Screaming Nemesis, which makes me think they left up removal expecting us to play the Screaming Nemesis, but joke's on them. We're not going to play your game. We're just going to beat you down with a Pyromancer and then Bolt Wave your face down to 12. And pestered. Opponent, going to remain patient. Not going to kill the Vishino Pyromancer. Oh, no Shieldred. How about no Shieldred? No Shieldred? Glissa. Sure, that's fine. I think we actually kill a Glissa. So we're giving up a damage, right? But we spend 3, but we get to get in for 2 with the Vishino Pyromancer, and it clears away for the Screaming Nemesis. Hit you down to 7. Play the land. Okay, we need 2 more burn spells. Maybe 1 if we can actually get in this attack. Opponent with the tap land. Up the Beanstalk, not a Shieldred, that's fine. Draws a card. As long as it's not a Shieldred, we can kind of deal with it at this point. Oh, wait, do we win? Is there a chance we win here? I think they do have a go for the throw. They left up the removal for the Screaming Nemesis like 2 turns ago, so I'm pretty sure. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So opponent goes to 5. We can, oh my god, Lightning Helix them to 2. We need any burn spell in our deck. Opponent land. And Duress. Well, in response, burn ya to 2. And about it. Oh, Shielder. Okay. Burn spell. Yes. Okay. Our new Lava Spike pays off, and our opponent found these Shieldered, but it's too late, and that went pretty well. Okay. So we know Shieldred's a thing. So we'll bring in the Destroy Evils, maybe a couple of the Sunspine Lynxes and the Scorching Shots. Basically things that can kill bigger creatures. The problem with bringing in things like Scorching Shot and Destroy Evil is they don't damage our opponent. And you can't afford to bring in too many of those cards, right? Because it's the classic Modern Burn brings in Rest in Peace against the Graveyard deck, and then they draw their Rest in Peace and end up like 2 damage short of winning the game because they had Rest in Peace, when if they just had a burn spell, they would have won. So that's what we would like to try to avoid doing is overloading on too much stuff that can't deal damage. Wow, that's a lot of Boros Charms, which we're not complaining. That is pretty excellent. That's 12 points of damage. 1 from the desert. Hit you. Down to 19. Boros Charm. Also Lightning Strike. So Boros Charm, you should probably fire off at basically any time. Stuff like Lightning Strike, there are worlds where you might need to use it on a creature or whatever. Boros Charm only hits face anyway. Like, I guess I could see a situation where we give something Double Strike. Maybe? I guess the very, very fringe situation where we use it to make something indestructible, but like 98% of the time, just throw it to your opponent's face as soon as possible. Opponent, land on black and up the Beanstalk. Sure. Draws a card. Yup. And what do you got, opponent? What do you got? Duress. Oh, that actually is going to take some damage out of our hand. They probably got to take Boros Charm, I guess. That's the most damage. They can't Duress the Lynx anyway. Well, takes a Boros Charm. We will send Boros Charm number 2 at your face, down to 11. Wouldn't mind hitting a land. Ugh, a little bit tapped, but sure. We'll play the tap land, pass the turn. Yes, we have a lot of non-basics for the Sunspine Lynx. No, I don't think it matters. Opponent with the Fountain Port. Ooh, all right, opponent. Decided they need to start making some food. A little hungry, our opponent over there. Gets in with the cottage, sure. Gonna eat a Boros Charm. So if we Lightning Strike our opponent's face, Sunspine Lynx, 1, 2, 3, 4. If our opponent can't kill the Lynx, so if we play the Lynx, they crack the Food and Response, go to 11, then they take 4 down to 7, and then in theory, Lynx plus Lightning Strike could be lethal. Although, how realistic that is another question. Well, let's Lynx them. Wow, opponent did not correct their Food and Response. Oops. Oops. Opponent goes to 4. Play a land. Wow, let's see if our opponent gets punished for that. Punished by death to burning. So our opponent needs to kill the lynx. Wow, thankfully they don't gain life off that. All right, so they kill the lynx. That turns on their food. Man, this is going to be close. We need to draw a burn spell, I think. Another lynx would be insane. Opponent, unimpens. Ooh, Boros charm. Okay. Here's how this is going to work. We're going to throw the lightning strike at our opponent's face. Our opponent's going to freak out for no reason, crack their food, and then we're going to get them with the Boros charm. I think that's... I have faith. I have faith. Because they're going to be like, oh, what if they have 2 shocks in hand or something? Even though they know about the... They know we can't, so they shouldn't. But I just got a good feeling about this. Lightning strike, yeah. Because I think I would do the same thing. All right, in response, Boros charm for Xaxes. Got him! Wow. That food would have saved our opponent's life. First, they didn't crack it in response to the Sphinx. And then we got him with the lightning strike bait. Well, yeah, burn him. That was not bad considering our opponent had some life gain. Sweet. All right, budget magic time. We are doing some burning. Doing a little burning in standard. And... oh, God. Okay. Well, this should be interesting. The age-old question, what wins? Burn or life gain? I would tell you the answer, but I don't think you want to know. Opponent, Lunar Convocation. So we do have Screaming Nemesis, and we have Sphinx in the side, or not Sphinx, Lynx in the sideboard. So we do have a couple ways to stop life gain. In general, though, I would much rather be the life gain deck than the burn deck in such a situation. We're going to have to deal a lot of damage or make this Screaming Nemesis actually work. Opponent. Painland's pretty big. Now they can... Yeah, I think we have to kill the bat. That feels so bad, but if we don't kill the bat, they gain life, and then they can Painland to lose life and start making more bats with Lunar Convocation. It hurts to waste a real... Oh my god, burn spell on a 1/1 though. Opponent. The other thing about Screaming Nemesis is sometimes Darkstar Augur, eh? Lightning Strike. Well, I think we're just going to run it out. One thing I like to do sometimes with Screaming Nemesis is try to wait until I can leave up a burn spell to target my own Screaming Nemesis with if our opponent tries to kill it, especially against a life gain deck. But we don't have like a burst lightning or anything, so we have to wait till we get to 5 mana, which is just... I don't know if that's realistic. Plus, we want to get this case down and see if we can start drawing cards. Hopefully our opponent spins badly with their Flying Bob. All right, there's a go for the throw. Well, life gain will remain active for now. And a Cavern on Bat and a Deep Cavern Bat. Well, this gets us closer to drawing cards with Case of Crimson Pulse. That is a theoretical way we could beat the life gain deck. The easy way, I think, is stop them from gaining life. That's easy mode. Hard mode is maybe we can somehow draw enough cards with Case of the Crimson Pulse that we can just brute force burn them through the life gain. Thankfully, so far, they're just gaining little bits here and there. Let's discard this tap land. Kellen and Lightning Strike, eh? Well, play the Hired Claw. So we should be able to, hopefully, solve the case next turn. I think Case is probably very good in this deck. We'll see. We'll see how hard it is to solve. But I feel like draw 3 a turn with burn has to be insane if we can do it. Opponent, more Lunar Convocations, and little sheep. Enduring Innocence. Also has life gain, unfortunately. Hits us, gain some life, back up to 11. Triggers a million Convocations. Yeah, our creatures aren't going to do much. Mishra's Factory. Okay, well, or Foundry. Let's kill... Well, we can do everything, right? We kill the bat. Get back to Lightning Strike. Lightning Strike your face. We just need to get empty-handed. We need to get empty-handed so we can solve this case. So kill the bat. The question is, do we go face? Can we... Yeah, all right, let's do a little attack and see what our opponent does. If they double block, maybe we can get a little blowout with the Lightning Strike. Opponent. Just going to take it. Well, in that case, yeah, I mean, when in doubt, throw the burn spell at your opponent's face and hope for the best. Down to 8, down to 5. Run out the Kellen. Case officially solved. I mean, our opponent only gets to gain 2 this turn, right? So you go up to 7? There is a world. We get 1 from Hired Claw. Like, all we need is to draw 2 burn spells. Lava Spikes, Boros Charms, Lightning Strikes. Doesn't even really matter. Like 2 burn spells. And we should be, oh, and they spend 1 there. Does that matter? So opponent goes to 4 to turn on their Convocations. I don't know if Kellen's, oh. All right, up to 6. And kills the Kellen thanks to Virtue. Plays the land. Deep Cavern Bat just to have a lifelinker. All right, Case. In Case we trust, this opponent gets to go up to 8. So now not any 2 burn spells do it. Actually, maybe they do, because we hit for 1. And not any 2. We're going to need a Boros Charm plus a burn spell. Or some luck with our opponent's Augur over there. Yeah. All right, sure. We'll take it. Sure. Enduring Innocence. Down 11. Well, opponent gets to make 1,000,000 bats. Yup. All right, we get to draw 3. 2 from the case. Burst Lightning. Okay, wait, I think this works, right? We said we needed 2 burn spells. We got 3. We have just enough damage. Well, apparently we can beat the life gain deck. We did not stop the life gain either. The case came through. Burst Lightning you down to 2. And last but not least, Burst Lightning. Wow, opponent doesn't even wait. Scoops it up. Well, okay. So, opponent's batting us. Gaining life. We're bringing the Lynxes. We're bringing the Slag Storms. I really like Slag Storm in the sideboard of this deck. It gives us a Anger the Gods Pyroclasm effect, but it can still go face. And that problem we were talking about after match 1 of the modern burn deck bringing in Rest in Peace and ending up short on damage, you get around that with Slag Storm, right? You get your sweeper, but you still can deal damage with it if you need to. So anything you can play in your burn deck that's like that is going to make the deck better. Anything that's like, I can do a thing and hit your opponent's face. One card that didn't make the deck, Blooming Blast, that was the next card in. That was the next card in the deck. In the end, it didn't make it. I don't think we can keep this one lander. All right, this we can keep. I like this Screaming Nemesis. I think we'll let's put a Swift Spear to the bottom. I don't know if our creatures are that good in this matchup, honestly. Ruin Lurker Bat. Ruin Lurker Bat's actually pretty annoying. Just a 1-mana 1/1 lifelinking flyer is obnoxious. Well, play Swifty. Get in, hit ya. Down 19. Wish it was 18. Opponent, land, and. Ooh, oh boy, Amelia Bedelia. That's an issue. Well, I think we gotta kill it. The problem with Amelia is it's going to just outscale our burn spells. And we did not bring in any hard removal. So once that gets to like 4 power, 5 power, it's going to become impossible for us to deal with. Opponent plays land and Enduring Innocence. And hits us down to 15. Well, there's a case. Let's play the land. Run out the case. I mean, it worked last time. We're going to discard. Oh. Well, that's kind of a backfire. We wanted to have Screaming Nemesis Burst Lightning, but I figured we'd just draw into another land anyway, but that might have been a little greedy. Because we did not find the land. Opponent. Schwamp. And Deep Cavern Bat. Well, they're probably going to take the Burst Lightning anyway. I am not sure that we can deal. They have a lot of life gain this game. Last game it was like 1 a turn, but usually. This game, they're already up to 4 lifelinking power. That is going to be a problem. Takes the Burst Lightning. The Nemesis could still be. Oh no, Ruin Lurker Bat. Maybe they just block the Nemesis for some reason. Opponent gets it and hits us. Down to 12. And gets to do a little scrying with the Ruin Lurker Bat. Going to leave it on top. Yep. Well, there's a land. I mean, I guess we just have to play the Screaming Nemesis. Opponent's going to kill the Swift Spear. Play the Mountain. Play the Hired Claw. And, yeah, I mean, I think we get in there. Hit you down to 17. We could stay on defense, but all that really stops is the sheep. Oh, boy. Deep Cavern Bat. Yeah, this is kind of how I imagine this going. Is our opponent just playing all these dorky little. We need a Slag Storm. Slag Storm would actually be. Oh, we need Slag Storm right now. Oh, no, it's not even going to work. This Amalia is a problem. All right, we need Amalia to reveal lands, and then we need to hit a Slag Storm. Okay, land, that's good. Zorlene, they're going to want to keep... Oh, no. Land. Oh, all right. Well, now Slagstorm doesn't even do it, because Amelia's up to 4 power. Boros Charm. Huh. Well, I mean, we got to cast it to solve the case. Is there a way we can, like, attack and get value out of it with Double Strike? Not really. Yeah, I mean, I guess all we can really do is... Man, opponent's still at 20. Hit your face. Do the Hired Claw thing. Pass the turn. I mean, the only good news is the Screaming Nemesis does shut down the Amelia attack pretty well as long as it remains alive. Like, you can't just slam a huge Amelia into it. All right, Lunar Convocation. But yeah, this one I think is slipping away. If it wasn't for the Amelia, we'd be drawing live to a sweeper, but I mean, maybe. No, they're going to gain so much life here. Opponent attacks. Gets a million Amelia triggers. Cut down. Not very good, actually, here. Because we can grow the... Alright, opponent's going to keep it. I mean, I guess just max growing Amelia is pretty good. Well, alright, deck. Give us a Blasphemous Act. That does not exist in Standard. Found it. Oh, the cut downs, yeah, it's a little better because they draw it right away. I forgot about that. So they can cut down the Hired Claw. Yeah, that makes sense. Sure. Well, oh, there's the Slagstorm just to mock us. So we could sweep, but then we died to Amelia. We would shut down the life gain. Amelia. Brutal. Brutal. Well, I think we just run it back. All right, on to game 3. Burn versus life gain. Can we burn our way past the... Oh, we got the Slagstorm in hand. No white mana is a little sketch, but... I mean, we're a base red deck, right? Our only white cards in the main are, I think, the Boros Charm and Lightning Helix, if I remember. Oh my god. Monastery's Whisper, getting edge it down to 19. Oh, Bowden. Can we not have a Rune Lurker bat for once? I swear they must mulligan 4 Rune Lurker bats. Every time. Every time they got one of those. Well, Pyromancer you. Down to 16. Swiftia. Down to 15. Alright. White mana, please. How about a white source? Case of Uneaten Fees. Oh, more life gain. And there's a cut down. Sure. And opponent hits us. Well, okay. Not white mana, but we did find a case, which we can use to discard, I guess, Boros Charm. Well, there's some slow white mana for the future. Mishra's Foundry is helpful. Slagstorm has Zorlene covered, at least. If they draw Zorlene, then we can reset, which is... Zorlene cannot live. Alright, they do have Zorlene. I mean, just bats gaining every attack is going to be a lot for our deck to deal with. Opponent heads us down to 18. Well, I mean, this is kind of fine. Let's attack. I don't even know if our opponent blocks. I might be worried about a Monstrous Rage or something. We might get in... Yeah, our opponent takes it. Some free damage. Well, Desert, yeah. Down to 13. And Slagstorm. Sweep away the board. Well, next goal is hopefully stop drawing lands so we can get empty-handed and solve this case to start drawing some real cards. Oh, no. Amelia. Hopefully it's only... Okay. Oh, no. Deep Cavern can take the Lightning Helix. We got to kill this Amelia before it gets too big. Ah, yeah. Can we draw a burn spell that can hit Amelia? Opponent go for the throat. I don't even know if they want to keep it. We don't even have any creatures at the moment. Oh, second land is... Oh, it's looking bad. It's looking bad. A land is by far the worst draw there. Not just because we don't need more lands, but we'd only play 1 land a turn. So every land we draw is another turn that we don't solve the case. Well, yeah. Haha. We got him. On the other hand, the upside of drawing lands is... nothing for the bat to target, so we are kind of high rolling with this Amelia so far. If it stays at 3 power or 3 toughness, there is a world where we deal with it. Once it gets to 4, it becomes multiple burn spell range, and once it gets to like 6 or 7, then it's just like it's gonna live forever. Opponent gets in, hits us down to 14. Another Amelia and mills it. The Lightning Helix, just a little bit too late. I mean, it's still good. It's still good. But a turn too late to deal with Amalia, unfortunately. And we only have one white, so our opponent's going to sack to go digging for a bat. So we probably got to kill the... Ooh, Essence Channeler. Huh. We might have to just kill that now. As much as I want to kill the Deep Cavern Bat that has the Lightning Helix, I think we got to wait. I think we just got to get rid of the Essence Channeler. That's another card that's just going to outscale our burn. Yeah, seems like a very tricky matchup. Well, kill the Essence Channeler. 2 turn. We really got to not draw land this turn. Really, 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 really. Man, another one? Oh, boy, this looks so bad. Opponent hits us. Oh, our dreams might be dying. Come on, deck. At least not a land. At least not a land. It's got to be a non-lander. We're just going to die. All right, Lightning Helix. Okay, okay. So we can play the Mishra's Foundry. I guess we just Lightning Helix the bat. Get the Lightning Helix. Lightning Helix the bat, I guess. And then fire up a Foundry. Do we hit ya? We're taking 7. We're up to 16. We can gain life too. Yeah, I mean, hit ya. Down to 17. Solve the case. So how do we get out? Screaming Nemesis. Screaming Nemesis can at least shut down this Amalia over the short term. Like, eventually they'll find removal for it, but that's probably our best bet. Opponent hits us down to 8. We need something this turn. We get 3 cards, which helps, but if we don't find something this turn... Boros Charm, Screaming Nemesis, okay. Well, in that case, play Nemesis, and... do we leave a Boros Charm? This is the weird scenario where indestructibility could actually matter. They're not going to draw it this turn. Yeah, I think we're just going to attack, see what our opponent does. Opponent takes it. We're just going to play another Nemesis. We know our opponent's drawing the bat this turn. Well, I mean, this does mean they have to stop attacking with Amalia for now, right? I think. Opponent takes the Boros Charm. And, trigger. The other problem is this Essence Channeler gaining flying is going to kill us. They can do that with their Pain Land? Well, block it. All right, drop to 4. 9 damage. Yeah, I mean, I guess we go face. All right, knock the top of our deck. Boros Charm, Hired Claw. There is, my God, we did it. I can't believe they attacked into that. Oh my God, get in, hit ya. Wow, Boros Charm, Lightning Helix. Somehow, some way, against the odds. Boros Charm ya. We took down the life gain deck through the unkillable Amalia. Wow. We had no business winning that game. None. But we're not going to complain. We'll take it. Sweet. All right, budget magic time. We are doing some burning in standard. Ugh. 1 land. This is actually kind of a good 1-lander, though. It's close. We're going to try it. 1 land, 1 keep. We got rules. We got rules about these situations. I mean, we do have 3 1-drops, technically. And then 2 2-drops. So we only need 1 more land to unlock our hand, basically. Opponent. Ooh, Demir. Well, that's not a land. But we can play Kellen. Keep the 1-drop beats coming past the turn. We do need land number 2, though. And eventually land number 3. Opponent doing some demiring. Plays a swamp. Bolt wave, eh? Well, all right. Lava spike ya. Trigger prowess. Hit ya. Maybe we can just win with 1 land. Go to combat it. Aww. All right. Anoint with affliction. Well, hit ya. I mean, opponent's down to 13. They're down to 13. Maybe we want the 1-lander. Hey. All right. Land number 2. So leveling up Kellen doesn't do anything, really. Not much, at least. It does stuff eventually. Fairy Mastermind. Well, okay. It doesn't get first strike, right? It does not. It gets double strike in the last mode. Okay, so level 2 doesn't do anything for us. So I think here, we actually just spend the lightning strike on the creature. So we cost ourselves the damage, but we get to keep our creature. So in theory, this gives us more damage. Oh, that's going to be an issue. In theory, this gives us more damage in the long run. All right, let's get in there with Kellen, see if our opponent... All right, opponent's going to block with Shieldred. I mean, this might mean they have another Shieldred, but we have to The life gain from Shieldred will make us lose, so we gotta kill it. It is painful to have to spend a Lightning Helix on it, but wow. Alright. Kind of okay with this. If our opponent's best play is Fire Up Restless Reef Millis, well, it's a lot of lands that we could have used, but kind of fine with that. I'll play the land, do a little pyromancing. Yeah, I don't know if our opponent should have blocked with that Shieldred, honestly. I feel like, I guess they don't know our deck. We know this Shieldred is insanely good against our deck. Like, to the point where taking a couple extra damage, probably worth just making sure it stays on the battlefield. Yeah, let's... Yeah, let's play the case, see what our opponent does. If they counter it... Oh, they're going to kill the Pyromancer, sure. I was going to say if they counter it, then we probably get in the attack with the Pyromancer, but... Well, let's case, discard the Kellen, draw... Well, Land Lightning Strike's not the worst. Yeah, let's just wait. I mean, we have lethal damage in hand, right? We just need our opponent to tap down? Up. All right. I mean, I guess that's not tapped all the way down, but found it. Restless Reef getting in, milling us down to 9. Burst Lightning. Well, let's Bolt Wave you down to 3. And, yeah, I mean, Lightning Strike, yeah. Didn't have it. All right. Well, I mean, the deck actually feels kind of solid. I feel like Burn, it might be kind of good. Well, how many Shieldred answers do we want? Shieldred's answers and Lynxes, I think, are the cards we're really looking for here. It's a tough deck to cut too many cards from. Usually, I don't know if this is correct, but my theory with this deck has been, against removal-heavy decks, trim some creatures, because they're going to die anyway. A little bit counterintuitive, because you usually want a 1-drop in a red deck, but yeah, let's run it like that. All right, on to game number 2. Can we actually, really, truly, beat Shieldred? We're about to find out. This hand has way too many lands. Our 1-lander worked out last game. I think I'd rather have the 1-lander than the 5-lander. We're going to keep these very bad deserts because they count as damage technically. Haha. Winning. 19 ya. Abraded Bluffs. Can you beat it? It's like the reverse of the cheaty gain life lands. About it. Assassin. Well, okay, Lightning Strike. I mean, technically we have quite a bit of damage in hand. Abraded Bluffs you down to 18. I mean, if you think about it, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, maybe 13 if we can kick the Burst Lightning. We almost have lethal hand if we can resolve it and our opponent doesn't gain life. We're a couple burn spells short. And that's because of the deserts. If we didn't have that desert damage, found it. Fairy Mastermind. We could kill it, but do we care? We don't really draw extra cards until we get a case going, so I guess we just take 2 and try to... I think biggest lesson if you're going to play this deck, yes, there are times when you're going to have to throw burn. You're going to have to throw burn into creature. That is just the nature of the deck. Like, there will be times when you just gotta do it. Like you saw us taking down some of the life gain bats, or like using the Lightning Helix on the Shieldred after I had 2 damage on it, stuff like that. But biggest takeaway, you really, 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 really want to value throwing the damage at your opponent's face. If you fall into the trap of killing everything your opponent plays, you're going to end up short of damage for killing your opponent. This we might have... Well, do we even have... Yeah, we probably have to kill this. Yeah, I think that's worth the Burst Lightning. Lifelink changes the equation, right? Because a lifelink creature sticking around... Oh, do they have a counter too? And that's kind of bad. Oh, so much for the we have so much damage in hand theory. Not looking as good anymore. Opponent's going to take a Lightning Strike. I mean, I guess we can... I really want to hold the Scorching Shot for Shieldred. But I also really don't want to spend... Yeah, we're going to kill the... I'm too scared of Shieldred. We're going to Lightning Strike the bat. Get back our Lightning Strike. Pass the turn. We have many things that can kill little creatures if we have to. We have very few things that can kill a Shieldred. Found it. Combat. It's us. Yeah. Oh, no, are they Kaido? Oh, Kaido. Kaido's a problem. Kaido's a... Kaido, bane of nightmares. Kaido is quite literally our nightmare. Yeah, that's a thing. We cannot Scorching Shot at Kaido. 4 loyalty. That's a lot of burn. All right. I mean, the problem with Kaido is not the damage. It's our opponent getting to draw an extra card each turn is going to find them Shieldrids and counters and such. Opponent runs out the 1-drop. Going to crack the map on the Siren. No? Yes? Maybe? No. All right. Not going to crack the map on the Siren. Thought about it. Well, I mean, there's a Vishino Pyromancer. We're going to go face. It can hit Planeswalkers. I feel like our only realistic shot is we just have to draw enough burn that we can somehow kill our opponent before we die. I don't think the odds favor that this game. But I think if we spend 4 or 5 points of burn on Kaido, there is literally 0% chance that we win the game. then we have just no chance we're going to deal these last 13 points of damage. It's already looking bad, but that would make it impossible. All right, there's a Nemesis. Opponent's drawn a lot of cards, so they might have some removals, but how about a screaming Nemesis about it? And, yeah, I mean, we're staying to the plan, going face. Very mastermind, okay. I mean, if they block it, we at least get to do the screaming Nemesis thing, which will also go face. This does shut down Shieldred. Actually, let's kill after my big speech, let's kill the Kaido. No, all right. Yep. This one's pretty over. That was just too good to pass up, but yeah, Kaido seems very strong. Kaido seems very good. Found it. Surveils. Draws. Might be the best Kaido. Might be the best Kaido that we've seen so far. Oh. Wow, we actually got very punished for bringing all these scorching shots. That is almost what we've been talking about, honestly. Like, bringing in stuff that can't hit face and then drawing too much of it. So I think maybe I was too afraid of Shieldred. Yeah, maybe we bring in a couple more 1-drops on the plane and run it like that. I think that's fine. Well, all right, Demir. All right. Let's see what you got. We will play first, I believe. Let's go on the draw with our aggro deck. Well, okay, we're going to keep this. We need white mana, but the hand's fine. And we got a case. I think I'm pretty sold on case in this deck. I feel like the games where we have case, we tend to win, which I guess is the sign of a good card, like when you win the game when you play it. It's not like super quick, but I think if you look at our wins so far, several of them are games where the extra card advantage that we got from case was actually like super important, instrumental even in us being able to win Bonnet Island and our friend the Bat. Well, I would really love to draw a white source, preferably on tap, but we will take pretty much any white source at this point. Wow. Huh? Okay. Well, huh. I was expecting our opponent to take the lightning strike, but lightning strike it? I guess, why? I mean, I guess it works out the same kind of, because now we spent the lightning strike on the bat, but in what world is Bolt Wave that only hits face the strongest card there? Oh, Pyromancer, you opponent. Flood. Oh, man. Don't Kaido us. Don't Kaido us. There is, so Bolt Wave, we've talked about it as a better Lava Spike. That I think is generally true. I think, especially in like, well, I don't even know anymore. Because the biggest difference, the upside of Bolt Wave, it gets around hexproof stuff, right? Because it doesn't target. So your opponent plays a lane line of Sanctity, you still get them. Man, that's oh my god. A lot of lightning helixes, but no white mana. The downside of a Bolt Wave is it can't have Planeswalkers. I don't know if that's enough to outweigh the upside, but there is a world where we might want to hit this Kaido, which we could with Lava Spike, but we cannot with Bolt Wave. Burst Lightning. Well, this is looking kind of grim. Flood Pit's Drowner. So maybe the lesson is, I don't know what the lesson is. I was going to say we can't keep a hand without white mana, but that's just not true with this deck. We definitely can keep hands without white mana. Found it hits us down to 9. I mean, I guess the real issue is we just never drew land number 3 this game. And all of our twos need white mana. So we just end up with a ton of cards in hand that we can't cast. Burst Lightning. Yeah, that might be about it. I mean, we can double. Let's try to double Burst Lightning the Kaido. If they counter it, then I think we're just gonna give up. Hit the Kaido. Burst Lightning number 2. Such a waste of damage. Burst Lightning at the Kaido. And negate. And fair enough, Demir. Fair enough. Kaido. It's a good card. Also, draw your 3rd land. Alright. Budget magic time. We are doing some more burn-in in Foundation Standard. And looks like we're going to be on the draw. This hand. Alright. Go creatures. We don't have that many creatures in the deck. This is about as creature heavy as one of our hands can be. I think Hired Claw is probably a better 1-drop than Kellen. Kellen does offer some nice value once we level it up. Huh. Now let's play the Forge. Get in, attack, and I think we're just going to pump the Hired Claw. Hedge it down to 17. If we can get it to 4 toughness, it's probably going to get past most of Gruul's removal. Overlord of the Hauntwoods, sure. Well, there's a case. I don't even know if we're going to need the case this game. We'll see. Let's just Screaming Nemesis get in at ya. Bang ya. Pound it. Down to 11. And, I mean, we have the Boros Charm in hand. Big blockers aren't that great against Screaming Nemesis. Pyromancer. Wait, is there a way we win this turn? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, seems possible. Pyro Mancer. Ping, yeah. Down to 9. I mean, they can make a fish, right? With Fountain Port. Ping, yeah. Down to 8. I mean, if our opponent does... Wow. Okay. Well, we're going to pass and see if our opponent, like, makes a treasure or something. Paw Patch Formation. All right, that's good enough. Boros Charm. Get ya. And that was about as clean and easy as one of our wins have been with this deck. That was some good burning. Okay, maybe the all-creature hand can be good with this deck. Gotta watch out for the instant speed life gain. That's the reason to, like, leave up a lethal burn spell instead of just firing it off. Is something like Paw Patch Formation, make a food, gain some life, can just blow you out. So there's upsides to waiting a phase or two, or even to your opponent's upkeep, if you're in that scenario. Well, we're gonna bring in some removal for bigger things, and I guess just run it like that. All right, on to game number 2. I don't even know what our opponent's playing. Gruul Ramp? Gruul things? Gruul mid-range? I don't even know. This is a one-lander that I don't think we can keep. Even though this deck can sometimes keep one-landers, we only cast 1 card. We really need to draw not just a land, but a white source. And we have 2 3-drops. Yeah, I think we gotta ship it. Well, I don't know if this is a million times better, but we have lands and Kellen's opponent, land, and ooh, there's a Hired Claw. All right, all creature hand, take 2. Can we do it twice in a row? Hired Claw. Oh, up the Beanstalk. That's a good one. Opponent draws a card. There's a Burst Lightning. Well, let's play the land. Get in, hit ya. I feel like the Link should be good in this matchup. It's even better against, like, Domain. Yeah, let's just pump. Hired Claw, hit ya. It worked last game. And that means it's guaranteed to work this game too, right? Ooh, Samet. All right. Samet, hasty, vigilant first striker, hits us down to 18. Well, play the land, and that does shut down our attacks pretty well. Let's get it with the Hired Claw. Doesn't shut down the Hired Claw, but like Kelvin and Swift Spirit shuts down pretty well. Hit ya. Down to 14. Shino Pyromancer. Down to 12. And I guess we play the Swift Spear, which could prowess its way through the Samet eventually. Maybe. Perhaps, won't it land? And Samet attack. It only draws the turn it comes into play, so whatever, sure. Down to 16. That's fine. And Scorching Dragonfire. All right. Maybe we should have scaled the Hired Claw one more time. Well, now this is awkward. Tap land and Kellen, I guess? I mean, Kellen and level it up. I guess once we level it up twice, it can attack into a Samet. 3/2 Double Striker. Gonna get ya. Opponent untap. Opponent, have they triggered their Up the Beanstalk a single time? I don't think they have. I feel like this is the worst Up the Beanstalk we've ever seen. Opponent surveils, attacks. We will once again take our Samet beads. If we lose to Samet, then we deserve to lose this game. If they just get there 2 at a time with the Samet, fair enough. Down to 4 team. And opponent gonna pass well. Kellen, level 2. Can you beat a level 2 Kellen? Interesting. Right now our opponent has only 2. They've done a lot of basics this game. Maybe this Lynx is not going to be as good as I hoped. Let's just attack out, see what our opponent does. I imagine if they don't have removal, okay, they're going to block the Kellen. So we can level it up. Finally get rid of this Samet. They are going to trade because Sam has first strike, but that's fine. Like, we get in for some damage. I don't think we're going to cast the Burst Lightning. We might want to kick the Burst Lightning. We have enough mana that it's kind of realistic that we can just kick it and get 4 damage out of it. That's, I mean, part of the upside of Burst Lightning, right? It's a shock early and then, I don't know, what does 4 damage? Let's stoke the flames late? Let's go with that. Opponent, Scorching Shot on the Swift Spear. Play some more non-basics, opponent. Oh. All right, new game plan. We're going exactly what we were talking about with Burst Lightning. We are going to see the power of having a shock that has kicker to turn it into a 4 damage burn spell. Hit ya. Burst Lightning end step, untap Burst Lightning end step. Opponent. 7 mana. What you gonna do with it? Overlord of the Hauntwoods finally triggers up the Beanstalk. That's fine. As long as it's not like a Boltborn Tyrant or something that's gonna gain life. And I mean, I think that should be the game, right? Kick a Burst Lightning for ya, down to 3. And untap. And I guess we can do it that way too. Bolt Wave. Got him. Okay, burn actually seems kind of solid. This deck actually seems kind of sweet. And it's pretty budget friendly too. Boy. Standard might actually be like 2015 Modern, and that would be a sweet place to be. All right, budget magic time. We are trying to burn our opponent out in Foundation Standard. Yeah, it's going to be so funny. New Standard with like 6 sets and Foundations and all that stuff. I feel like it might be like Modern when I really love Modern. But then it also is going to have all the Universes Beyond stuff, which is definitely different than peak Modern from 2015, 16, whatever number you want to pick, whatever your favorite time was. I'm actually excited to see how it shakes out. Scared, a little scared too, but also very excited. Hit ya with the cheaty land. Can you beat a desert opponent? If we can only, ooh, is this a control deck? I feel like control, Bees is annoying. Minus life gain, I think burn typically can beat control. But if our opponent has some hosiery life gain cards, found it, land in. Biasin. More Boros charms. Yeah, opponent's leaving mana up. I think we're going to wait till our opponent taps down to do some screaming with our nemesis. Found it. Meticulous Archive. We're going to do a little surveilling. Gosquash. Arena usernames. Well, Boros charm. 4 to the face. Would you like to counter it? Would you like to prevent yourself from going from 19 to 15? Wow. I was kidding, but sure. Sure. Opponent values their life total. We will untap and, well, I mean, we get a free Nemesis hit, and we can always Burst Lightning it if we have to. And by have to, I mean, we probably will if they try to kill it just to shut down. Maybe this isn't control. Maybe this is helping hands. That would make more sense. Why would you play that silly Surveil counterspell? Which is worse than the other counterspells in the format. Huh. Another nemesis. Well, get in at ya. That would mean we probably don't have to worry about as much about life gain. Parting Gust. Well, just to make sure, let's do the Burst Lightning, our nemesis. Hit you for 2. Shut off life gain for the rest of the game. And we get the gift of a tap finish. And, yeah, let's just Pyromancer you. Down to 12. So what do we got to be afraid of? An Oculus? A Hautigen? Something like that? Some big flying... All right, there's a Chart of Course. I don't know about Parting... I like Parting Gust a lot. But if they're playing Helping Hands, do you really want Parting Gust in that deck? Chart of Course. I mean, I guess it's a way you can... The upside of Parting Gust is a way you can protect your creatures along with a way to kill stuff. Okay, there's a Helping Hand. So they are Helping Hands. Well, let's, I guess, get swifty and run out a Screaming Nemesis and just smack you with our dorks. Opponent, down to 5. I wish it was 4. 4 would be nice, but 5's fine. I mean, I think we're in good... Even if our opponent reanimates here, I think we're still in good shape. Like, even if they do their thing, they got to deal with the Nemesis. They can't just block it. And we have 2 burn spells in hand, which together should be lethal. Kellen, right on time. Well, yeah, it actually has been pretty nice, opponent. Here we go. Can you stop our creature beatdown? Even if they can, they're going to have to tap a bunch of mana. All right, Parting Gust, sure. Well, in response, Lightning Strike you, trigger Swift Spear. We don't even need any creature damage, really. We just need to resolve this Boros Charm. Well, I guess that means we need 1 creature damage, but Boros Charm, yeah, opponent sees it coming, scoops it up, and that was actually a pretty easy one. That was Helping Hands when Helping Hands does not find any of its pieces. Our opponent just cast cantrips and died. Rest in peace. We're gonna bring it in. I know. We might be playing ourselves. We might be doing the modern burn thing, but we'll see. I feel like this deck's so graveyard dependent that it's worth it, despite the lack of damage. Right like that. All right, on to game number 2. We're on the draw. Helping Hands versus what is kind of old school modern burn, but in standard, honestly. This hand, well, a little bit land heavy, but it's, I think, reasonable. Our mana's going to come into play and tap. That's nice. Slate a hand for our opponent. We might... Oh, what do we lead on? I kind of think we lead on Kellen. Leveling up Kellen into a double striker could be sweet. So far, Kellen has been decidedly medium. Like, I think it's worse than Hired Claw, worse than Swift Spear, which... I guess means maybe we don't want it, because right now we're playing a split of Hired Claw and Kellen's. It might be better to just play all Hired Claw. Hired Claw has been very good. Kellen has been mostly a Savannah Lions. The fact that it's... The biggest issue I found with Kellen after playing it, that I didn't really... I guess you should be able to see it just reading the card, but it's not as obvious until you play with it. But the biggest issue is, so you play Kellen on turn 1. Turn 2, you're like, okay, I'm going to level up my Kellen. You spend 2 mana, and you basically get nothing, right? You get the same stats, and your ability is, when I deal combat damage, impulse draw a card, but that doesn't really do anything, because you impulse draw, but you already spent your 2 mana to level up Kellen, so there's nothing in play. So the first turn when you spend that 2 mana to level it up, it does literally nothing, and then I guess your hope is, the next turn, then you get the payoff of a 3/2 double striker that might impulse draw 2 cards, but if you level it up again, you have the same problem that you are impulse drawing cards that you can actually use, right? You're exiling these cards, but you don't have any mana to play them because you spent it leveling up Kellen. So the fastest Kellen really starts doing good things, realistically, is probably turn 4. I guess there's a world where, as we level up our Kellen, I guess there's a world where you level it up to 2 and leave it there, and it sneaks in some Ragavan hits, and you get value on turn 3, but... Or your opponent can just bounce it in response to you spending mana to activate it. Well, play the Inspiring Vantage. We're committed. We're committed to the Kellen. We're going to make this work. We are going to make Magic's least necessary character into an all-star one way or another. How do we end up in a storyline where Kellen traverses a multiverse? Found it. Mills with Picklock Prankster. Yeah, it's a parting... Opponent gets a lot of Parting Gust. I respect that. I am a Parting Gust believer. I don't know if I'm a Parting Gust believer in our opponent's deck, but I love it in, like, Panharmonicon style decks. Well, wait a minute. Are we gonna actually do something with Kellen? Is this happening? Is this happening? After making fun of the son of Oko? You didn't hit you. Boom. Whoa, Kellen. Kellen burst lightning, okay. And land to cast it. All right, that's fine. That's fine. We actually... biggest achievement of this entire episode. We actually got Kellen value. Okay. I don't take it back. I still think it's worse than Hired Claw, but it is possible to actually get value out of it. And now our opponent's at 9, and we might be in a good... I don't know if I've ever seen a deck do less than our opponent's deck has done. I don't know if they're just running amazingly bad and they just can't mill their Oculuses or their payoffs or mentors or whatever they're using. I guess that's what's happening. Our opponent's like doing things. They're casting spells and cantrips and like filling their graveyard, but none of those things, they haven't put a single creature on the battlefield this entire match, have they? I'm pretty sure they've just like cast a ton of cantrips and just spun their wheels as we beat them down with Kellen of all things. Well, all right. Well, Kellen, you did good. You did good, bud. You get on that one hit and turn into a fish. We'll take it. You were instrumental. Wait, did we just win? I think we just win. Swift Spear. I mean, double Swift Spear, double Burn Spell. I guess if our opponent has a bunch of removal, they could potentially answer it, but this should do it. Swifty number 2, and Lightning Strike your face. Trigger down to 6. If our opponent has a counter, they can survive the turn, I think. Actually, no, they can't. They do have the counter. Even a counter is not enough, is it? Bolt Wave. And trigger down to 6. Swifties, pretty big. And opponent, kind of dead. And, well, I will say, this does feel a bit like old school Modern Bird. And it actually feels pretty good. If you like throwing damage at your opponent's face, that's pretty sweet, but we'll talk about that in the wrap-up. So what did we learn this week about budget Boros burn in Foundation Standard? And unfortunately, I don't know our full record, so when I started playing this deck, this was the first deck I played after Foundations released, and my tracker hadn't updated yet, so it wasn't keeping track of my matches. I think we had a winning record with the deck, like maybe 60% win rate. Overall, though, the deck felt really solid. Like, the new additions means that I think burn might be pretty legit. The combination of Bolt Wave and Boros Charm, and Burst Lightning, honestly, too, is just so big for burn. Like, these cards deal so much damage to our opponent that it's pretty realistic to burn our opponent out by turn 4 now, which is a pretty fast kill in Standard. The interesting question for this deck is going to be, how does it compare to the other mono red decks, the pump spell mono red decks that are so popular in Standard? Because even though they're both doing similar things, right? Like, we're red decks that are trying to kill our opponent quickly, they play very differently. Like, one is just all about these monstrous rages and pump spells and 1-drops that you want to target with spells. This deck is way more about casting spells at your opponent's face, the Boros Charms and Bolt Waves and Lightning Helixes. So it's going to be very interesting to see which one of those is better. Do they both merge together? Can you have a deck that's our deck, but also with the monstrous rages and pump effects? Do we have enough creatures for that? Or maybe there's just multiple red aggro archetypes in Standard. That would be the dream scenario. Imagine a Standard where you can play pump spell mono red, or you can play a burn deck mono red. There's so many different options. That would be so incredibly sweet if Standard ends up being literally like old school Modern used to be. I've been missing old school Modern. Maybe Wizards is maybe intentionally or even unintentionally turning Standard into something that looks a lot like what was my favorite format. So anyway, that's Boros Bird. If you're a Modern Burn player from the past, it's probably the perfect Standard deck for you. If it is like throwing damage at your opponent's face, it's a really sweet budget option. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.